Charli James is with us. Charlie, we've been following the story. Good to have you in the studio. It's one of the stories where there's so much noise, and the old adage, look between the noise to the signals. But first of all, the focus on President Trump, the kind of flip-flopping back and forth. Just talk us through that and what we understand are the possible reasons for it.
Mm-hmm. Well, plainly, Gavin, the reason for this reversal is that Trump was not going to get what he wanted. It looks like this vote is going to pass and could pass by quite a bit, with quite a bit of Republican support. Voting to protect the files of a convicted child sex offender is not something that any lawmakers, Republican or Democrat, are keen to do, even if Trump asks them to. So Trump coming out now and encouraging or allowing Congress members to vote for this, it's a way for him to try to reframe it as not a loss for him. However, we know that this isn't the outcome that Trump wanted for several reasons. One, if he wanted these files public, he could just do it himself. He could order the Justice Department to open everything up the way he has with the JFK files, MLK files, etc. He's choosing not to do that. Two, he had Speaker Mike Johnson keep the House closed for nearly 2 months during the government shutdown in order to avoid this vote. And three, there's been a months-long pressure campaign on Republican lawmakers to try to get them to drop this story, to stop talking about it, to not vote to the petition to put this vote on the floor. He's brought lawmakers to the White House. He's been calling them on the phone. He cut ties, as you mentioned, with Georgia lawmaker Marjorie Taylor Greene, who was one of his most strident MAGA supporters before, calling her a traitor because she would not drop this issue. So none of this has worked, and that shows the power of the Epstein scandal, its importance to Republican voters and to his base, because this is the first real challenge to Trump's authority in his second term. And he's been unable to control this story and bend lawmakers to his will like he has so many other times.
And it's worth saying within the MAGA movement, there's not a suggestion that Trump is implicated. This is, it's not about Trump's, he declares it's nothing to do with it, it doesn't bother him. But at the same time, this is about transparency for them, that there are conspiracists who believe this is a deep state network. The links that will show within the Epsteinfiles will prove what they've been saying all along. And yet the FBI back in June had said there's nothing to see here. There's nothing that would implicate a third-party character in this. So that's a difficult implication. But from what I've listened to, from what you've just been saying, it didn't sound like for the past few days there were many other avenues for President Trump. Well,
so the Epstein story and the Epstein scandal, it's so compelling to the MAGA base and honestly to most Americans. One, because MAGA supporters, they tend to be conspiracy-minded already. Trump himself is someone who rose to political prominence on the back of conspiracy theories. I mean, his first big major political moment was the Barack Obama birth certificate scandal, which was a conspiracy theory that he came up with. So MAGA tends to be very suspicious of authority, of people with power, rich people, celebrities, and this story encompasses all of that. But honestly, Gavin, I mean, you don't have to believe the earth is flat to think that something is fishy and compelling about the Epstein story. I mean, here you have a monstrous person, a convicted child sex offender who ran in circles with the rich and powerful, with celebrities, with royalty, with politician, who died in jail before he could be brought to justice. I mean, makes people very angry. And several polls have shown that this is not just a MAGA issue. More than 3 out of 4 Americans say they want all of these files released. So this is beyond MAGA. But MAGA supporters specifically have been very mad about this since July, because that's when the FBI and the Department of Justice together released a statement saying, we haven't found anything that warrants a more criminal investigation into Epstein, and we're not going to release any more documents. And they said, well, we really thought that when Trump took power, it was all about transparency and he was going to release everything. So we have seen this trickle of documents come out through other means, like the 50th birthday book with the drawing purportedly from Trump, the cache of documents that were released last week by the House Oversight Committee. So those have continued to feed this story. But MAGA supporters and most Americans, they want to see everything. And so far, Trump's strategy of blaming Democrats and telling people to look the other way, it's not working this time.
And in brief, we think the vote may be tomorrow. It
It's
should be
looking
tomorrow.
like it's going to take place tomorrow. Yeah.
Charli James, thank you. Good to have that.